Ah, I see we're on Twitch. I hope we're playing on the deal because I'm still hearing that speaker of whichever one's playing on my computer. One of these external speakers on the PC one or two is playing on my end of that. But anyway, we're going to live on Newswire on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Going across the board on that each and every day. We're looking for a man. It's just like we all thought we were going to settle down a tad, a little bit. Maybe we're going to get a reprieve on, in 2021 over that. Just seems the news stories are jamming hard every day. We had Biden give his first major address to the nation last night. I think everybody's beat that to death, but he had another press conference today with Pelosi and Chucky Schumer and he said probably the Biden gaffe of all time of Biden gaffes going back, but we'll bring that to you here in a little bit. Uh, the mighty, how they've fallen. We'll get you informed on that. Drill, baby, drill. You know what? California's probably got the most oil in under its ground in the entire nation. They're trying to drill it. We'll tell you what the impediment is to that. City of Paso Robles, all kinds of other stuff coming up. Fast Eddie Castro will be on later at the show. They're going to have the Speedway bikes are back at Paris Raceway tomorrow night. They'll be they'll be having a British team racing, and to explain that concept to you, we'll have Fast Eddie. He's been around the Speedway scene riding for, heck, I think the better parts of 4 or 5 decades or something like that. So he's been around a long time, but still getting her done on the deal. We are in an occupation. No matter what's the United States, state of California, which we had, and we'll get to that. Oh, we're getting a cookie. We're going to start dropping L.A., Orange, San Bernardino, maybe Riverside, San Diego, and Ventura later on into the red, which means, oh, you may be able to go out inside and play for 15 minutes before mom calls you back in. New York's been under occupation. Most of that, some of the states, Florida, South Dakota, Texas, Oklahoma, I think, was the latest one to open up and say, Katie, bar the doors, no masks, 100%. Arizona's working that way, 100% open. Was it just a couple weeks ago when this latest surge, as they called it on the old CV, was hitting Arizona and they said we were all going to die? Well, Arizona's opening up 100%, no restrictions. Go for it. California, well, you might be able to do this, which we'll get into of how the mighty have fallen in that. But I want to hit the first one. So this is Fog City Midge. She's on Twitter and stuff. She's got a hell of a following going on. But she's in Washington, D.C. with the gates and the barbed wire. And she had a very interesting report. We're going to run the first part of her intro clip right now. Are they hearing me? Oh, they're not. Are you hearing it now? Okay. Let's see if we can run a test here and see if we're going to hear it on the.
Democrats are doing. They are not right.
Okay, now we got it back.
This is wrong.
It's about
as we
2
get
months from the occupation here
Here's Fog City
with the
Midge.
military presence, as well as the added additional security, fencing, and razor wire surrounding the Capitol. Over here, you can see the Supreme Court. Just so much razor wire and additional security, and not just one layer of fencing. There's actually multiple layers of fencing which congressmen and staff members are required to go through various checkpoints in order to enter the Capitol and the buildings surrounding the Capitol. It's disturbing, it's bizarre, it does not feel American, and it needs to come down.
This fence needs to come down. We need to have liberty. What are we living in? A police state? This is what the Democrats are doing. They are not right. This is wrong. They're wasting taxpayer dollars on this fence. They're wasting money with the military being here. I was in the military. I know what these guys are going through. They're serving their country. They're here for the right reason. But we got corrupt people in our capital.
There you go. You're seeing the occupation going on in Washington, D.C. You think that isn't coming? We're going to play the Joe Biden clips of today during the afternoon when people aren't watching things as they usually are. Like they were the big address last night in prime time, where 3 people were watching, half a person was watching today. So you get back to the point of 60 days of the occupation. What was it? January 6th of the little hubbub that we had in D.C. at the Capitol building on that. Here we are over 2 months later with this stuff. And this gentleman has something that was he made a very, very telling point. Actually, it's very disturbing. As Fog City Midge gives her the interview, here we go.
Those that travel a lot, we always can tell if a country is free or not free. And the way you tell is you go to the capital. And in free countries, the capital is always noisy. You know, there's women protesting and farmers protesting and unions protesting. But in non-free countries, they always have one thing in common: the area around the capital. And that's what really scares us, because this area has always been noisy, people around all the time. And for the first time, the walls are up not to protect the people. The walls are there to protect the people inside. So we escape communism to come here. Where do we go now?
I like most.
So there you go. There's the guy. There's the guy that says, if you have an occupied country, the leaders are walled off, fenced off. You cannot walk up there. You cannot go to the Capitol. You cannot go to anywhere, to the halls of Senate, to the Supreme Court, anywhere else. Look what they did to the state of California. They've had it walled off, fenced off. And what did he say? We escaped communism for that reason, because that's the way it was. And where do you go now? That's what the whole big thing is on this. So another lady that went on the thing at the Capitol. I want to play this one real quick. Here we go.
Down and open the city back up.
Me and my kids used to come down here all the time during the summer on nice days, and we'd be able to come down and enjoy the scenery here at Capitol Hill. Now it's like when you come down, it doesn't feel like home. It's not right for our locals, our children, and all that to come down here and feel like we're looking at a military installation overseas somewhere, because that's what it looks like.
I just find this fence and the barbed wire heartbreaking, because this is America, the land of the free, and this does not represent America and the American people.
So there you go. Mother can't have her kids play out in front of the Capitol like she did. The lady just said, this is not America, the home of the free and the brave. This is an occupation. What's even more disturbing is what Joe Biden said today at his press conference, going back and forth. This is the first clip we're going to play on that. And here we go. Here's the one he goes through, and you're not going to believe the Joe Biden gaffe that he rolls on this time. Here we go.
Change. We're not finished yet. Conditions can change. It's just about new variants of this virus. And the devil is in the details of implementing this legislation. I know from experience when the president turned to me like I haven't done to the vice president yet and said, take care of it. You take care of implementing the plan. But she could do it. But I remember being given the dubious distinction of having to implement the Recovery Act back in when we came into office, Barack and I spent literally 4 or 5 hours a day for 6 months. I talked to over 160 mayors, probably more than 2 or 3 times. Every governor save one who was looking at from Alaska to Russia, and making sure that we're in a situation where we talk to everybody. But it takes, the devil's in the details. It's one thing to pass the American Rescue Plan. It's going to be another thing to implement it. It's going to require fastidious oversight.
So there you go. States from Alaska to Russia. That was Joe Biden this afternoon at the press conference with Chucky Schumer and Nancy Pelosi and the crew, praising all the stuff and the stimulus and stuff. You know, you ain't getting diddly squat. Your little $1,400 stimulus check is about 10% of that $1.9 trillion that they're giving away. They're taking away your wealth. They're taking away your future. They're mortgaging you for the benefit of who? It's not you. You're just getting a little cookie out of this deal. But that's why we played Fog City Midge's tape video on the occupation. And the gentleman's, this is what a communist country looks like, and it's in the United States of America today. This is disturbing as all heck. And probably the only semblance in this, and we're getting a little bit of it, how the mighty fall. Number 4, please. Over 2 million signed petitions for Gavin Newsom. Failed at his job and destroyed lives of businesses and too many hardworking Californians. You can ditto that for his evil twin over on the other side. But I'm going to say Andy Como is going to be out faster than Gavin Newsom because they don't have a recall provision in New York, but they have to impeach him. But as it says on the graphic, killing grannies and grabbing fannies, you know, the accusations, and when your own turn on you, that's when you're in trouble. None other than, give me number 4, please. None other than AOC and Jerry Nadler, 2 of the most left-wing representatives in Congress out of the state of New York, have asked for Governor Cuomo to resign. When the most radical leftist dealers of your party are telling you you're out or you better get out, you're done. So let's hope that we get to the point that we are going to be rid of the evil twin governors, Andy Como and Gov Gav in California, and then we could start with the process of rebuilding our states, our cities, our counties, and our country. We got to take the fences down. It's part of why they want you to wear the masks. They want to dehumanize you. That's how they control you. They want to see what you will tolerate. They want to see if you will tolerate this. They will see if you will tolerate being told what to do, when to do it, how to do it. Red tier, blue tier, whatever, da-da-da-da-da. They want to go on the whole enchilada. It's nothing compared to what they're doing to you each and every day. Because that's what they did. They had the whole enchilada coming up. And flip up number 4, please. Newsom came out today, didn't even have a press conference. They just put out a health department press release. We're going, L.A., Orange, and San Bernardino County are going from the purple to the red tier. Oh, you may be able to go outside, like I said, for more than 15 or 20 minutes a day unsupervised, but then you will have to be back home real soon on that. Riverside, Santa Barbara, San Diego counties are supposed to be soon to follow on the deal. But we need to just say, not no, but hell no. We might get into it next week or maybe in the second half hour. Paso Robles in the first one. Second run, the business people got together and said, the hell with this. We're opening up Paso Robles, California. We're opening our restaurants, our businesses. The hell with Gavin Newsom. And that's what we got to do all across the state. We'll start with the recall. We'll continue it with that. We've got to sweep out the trash. I mean, Joe Biden said earlier in that press conference, we're going to transform America. Well, the transformation, like we said, is you're going to be in a gulag. Look at what they're doing at our public meetings. You can't, they're loving this. You can't go over there. Oh, you can Zoom in or call in. I will have to give Riverside come down there and live and in person give our comments and face the music. But most others haven't. But that's what they're doing. They're putting them walls and fences, those barriers around you. And as the gentleman said that came from the communist country, where do you go from here? We escaped Russia, China, only to come to America, hopefully for the opportunity, and now we're seeing the same things. Here's another one. This is on Cap Radio. Costa del Lode's EDD phone center balloons to $55 million as millions of calls go unanswered. You want to know why we got $31 billion in welfare fraud and climbing? This is the reason why. Multinational consulting firm Deloitte earned up to $55 million for running a call center that will left millions of unemployed Californians to hold for hours, often with no answer, struggling to access. Do you need somebody to talk to? You can. We got about 5 minutes left. But on top of that, 73 million calls came into the unemployment center. Only 5.5 million calls answered. That's $10 a call of the $55 million they got. On top of that, you want to know why it's a disaster and whose line and whose pockets? It's absolutely disturbing. Who we got on the line?
Hello. I'm just here to talk to you for a minute or two.
Yeah, we got about 5 minutes.
Okay, well, like you can tell them, we watch the city. They won't let us come to see them. You've seen the church there, the Catholic Church, last for Easter, nobody. And you remember for years and years, the streets and everything, when religion lets the government tell them what to do, they are working for socialism. And people don't realize it. You just look around. The only church I see that has mass people are there and singing and praying and everything, turn on Jimmy Swaggart and watch that. There's no mass there. That whole thing is full of buildings, and everybody's getting singing and doing whatever they want. The only church that I see that's defying the president. So that's my comments.
It is. It's an, and that's how they're doing. They're slowly working. They're seeing what we will take.
Right.
The bottom line.
When I was in school, and they would teach you, divided we fall,
United we stand, divided we fall.
And what do you see? First thing they pick on, all social and communist countries do away with school education, religion, and freedom to speak. And where are we now? We're about halfway there.
I
maybe more.
I think we're lucky if we're halfway there. I mean, look at it. Like I say, of all the public meetings, the only ones you can go down there and speak in person that I know of, there might be a couple other. I mean, around this general area is Riverside County. Everybody else, you're shut out.
Well, I see like I say, I go around the coffee shops with my buddies, our old race car buddies and stuff, and we sit there in these, in our cars at the restaurant and watch our city officials all gather in these little restaurants, private little deals. They're all gathering together and everything, but we can't talk to them. They get to grow in their own little restaurants on little open nights or days in the mornings and stuff. I've watched this for, over a year now, and what's this all about? How come they can gather and talk amongst themselves at public meeting places where nobody else can go in, but we can't? This is socialism.
Flip up number 4 real quick, please. I want to read this one. How in the hell am I still alive? ? I sanitize nothing, breathe freely, hug my family and friends, don't social distance, and worst of all, I accept cash as payment. Just a walking effing miracle. Are there any other walking miracles out there? The question asks.
Yep. Well, I can tell you my experience. I go to this Super Bowl party every year. All of us is there. I'm probably the youngest. Maybe there'll be a few younger. And none of us wear masks. We're all eating together in this one room. You've been there. Who we are talking. I don't want to mention names because then there'll be.
Yes, we don't want the police out there.
Yeah, right. But you know where I'm talking about. And all them people are, 80s, 90s, and like I say, one is 94, I think. 94. The other one's at 90s and 94. You know them all. You've been there. You've seen them all. They're all my friends and stuff. So, and we just did this a few weeks ago, and nobody got sick yet. Nobody's nobody's died yet, and we've been doing this for year after year. How come?
Yeah, it's absolutely amazing. Thanks for the call.
You
We'll
bet. Bye.
get to the end of the bottom of the hour of that. Yeah, I mean, you really look at it, and that's what it is. I mean, we're on a the line in the sand has got to come here somewhere. We're either going to continue down this path of letting our freedoms slip away. You want it's in the Constitution. First Amendment, freedom of religion. Well, they're telling you, no, you don't. They're telling you, freedom of speech. No, you don't. Right to assemble. No, you don't. Right to redress your government grievances. No, you don't. You know what's coming next? They're going to start peeling that Second Amendment away. You either got to, like Pop said, he's united we stand, divided we fall. We got over 2 million signatures on the Gavin Newsom deal. You're going to see in the next 30 days, once they're filed, and they'll be filed next week, you're going to see the campaign, because they got 30 days to go out there and get people to take their names off of the signatures. So it's not a done deal yet. And even if it does qualify, which it looks like it's a pretty good chance, but you never know, they're going to pull out all the stops to save gruesome Newsom's behind. But if it does get on the ballot, you cannot sit down, you not take the cookie, or if your kid gets to go to school 2 days a week for 2 hours a day, or whatever, you can't back up, you can't back down now. Or you will suffer the consequences of what it has. And you heard the man from the communist country said, if it ends in the United States, where do you go now? It's just that serious. Want to flip up number 4 real quick, please. We're going to get into this second hour. There's Joe Biden then, back about 2009 when he's sworn in vice president. There's Joe Biden today. Frightening. Really. And if you heard that, what was on the first part of that we did on that, and Alaska to Russia, it's absolutely incredible.
30 seconds.
Oh, there we go. Just for some reason, Sean, I'm getting a little background noise and coming through your deal when we sign into you. I don't know if it's on your end or mine.
That's very usual. Is when you hook up with somebody, there's always going to be some kind of a...
Okay, because I've never noticed that before coming through the deal, but that's why you kind of go, what the heck is this?
Here we go, 10 seconds.
IE Newswire Daily is on the air.
The following is a paid program. Views and claims expressed are those of the program producer and are not endorsed by this station.
There's that funky slide guitar music that comes on every Monday through Friday on the Mighty Met KMET, broadcasting all over the Inland Empire on the AM band, joining our vast video audience on IE Newswire, on Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube. Sans a little technical sound difficulties we had going on the minute, but I think we got that all teed up and going on that. Just to give us an update, and we kind of followed up on this, so flip up number 4 real quick, real quick. There's Joe Biden. Picture of him on the left, Joe Biden, about 2009 when he was sworn in as Vice President of the United States. There's Joe Biden, 2021, as you see him today, as President of the United States. Frightening, isn't it? You're seeing a shell of a man. We played the video, and you can go back and run it. But he had and a lot of people went through the press conference, the first address he had last night of the nation. But he had a press conference today with Pelosi and Schumer and all that. But you're looking at, he said, from all states from Alaska to Russia. Now, you might take that as a little bit of a, okay, he made a gaffe, but that's why we had the deal. Joe Biden's full of gaffes. He's a shell of himself. Not to disparage anybody, but, he's in cognitive decline, as most people agree. I'm not no doctor or give medical advice, but that's pretty obvious. But I want to play this clip again. This is a guy and the occupation sitting out from Fog City Mid. She did the video. It's posted on YouTube. He's sitting outside the Capitol building in front of the razor wire and fence that you can't get in, and this is what he says.
For those that travel a lot, we always can tell if a country is free or not free. And the way you tell is you go to the Capitol. And in free countries, the Capitol is always noisy. There's women protesting and farmers protesting and unions protesting. But in non-free countries, they always have one thing in common. The area around the Capitol is totally silent. And that's what really scares us, because this area has always been noisy, people around all the time. And for the first time, the walls are up, not to protect the people. The walls are there to protect the people inside. So we escape communism. Where do we go now?
I like most.
Yes. Where do we go now? They're putting up the walls everywhere. Barriers. Telling us what to do. Treating us like... It's ridiculous. And as we said, how the mighty have fallen. Cuomo looks like he's going on his way out. And notwithstanding the sexual harassment or inappropriate conduct, he should be out just to their sure death when he ordered those that were COVID positive in the hospital back to the nursing homes, the most vulnerable of the population. And as we said before earlier, when Jerry Nadler and AOC, two of the Congress people elected from New York, are calling for you to resign, your butt is toast. And they can take him, which the California legislature will not take Gavin Newsom out. But it appears that and they don't have the recall process in New York. But Andy Cuomo has done probably even worse damage than Gavin Newsom has done. But that is why it is important in California, as we have the recall initiative, and we are exercising it, and hopefully it gets qualified. If you do have signatures, or have somebody who hasn't signed it, if you get petitions, don't send them in. Go to www.recallgavin2020.com. Click on the county you're in and get with one of the coordinators, or take them directly into the registrar of voters so they will be counted. I think they were accepting them up until Tuesday. We're getting close to 2.1 million. They're already, as I hear the rumors have it, the Democratic Gavin Newsom suck-ups are already, because once it's qualified, they have 30 days to get, or during that 30-day period of when they're turned in to the time the registrar of voters and the Secretary of State has to sign it. People can sign to have their names taken back off the petition. So look for that effort to come up once the signatures are submitted, and it's in the hands of the Registrar of Voters and the Secretary of State, most of which the Secretary of State and most of your county registrar of voters were probably appointed by Democratic leaders, supervisors, county supervisors, and stuff. So, and I know Mike Hestron and the current one, registrar of voters in Riverside County, have been throwing barbs at each other over this and saying, "Hey, no." Mike Hestron saying no funky business on this, and so we'll see how that all goes. It's not official until until all the I's are dotted, T's crossed, and the Secretary of State stamps it, and we're on. But we're looking good. Now's the time not to let the pressure off. We can nothing, and maybe you can go outside for 15 minutes or 30 minutes if you're really, really good, and you don't do anything bad. But you got to be back in 30 minutes. Not no, but hell no. Want to do this in Reason magazine by Christian Brascati. The town that didn't lock down, Reason reporter went to Paso Robles, California, where many businesses defied state orders to close. He enjoyed it. He also got COVID and survived. Restaurants in California had to close except for takeout and delivery. Johnson went on predicting record growth for her business was to just barely hanging on. Went from $36,000 to $40,000 a month, she says. She was forced to cut her staff from 12 to just 2 people. She hung on, but onto that. Then in early December, Newsom surprised the state, well, not really, with a regional stay-at-home orders. The governor's order divided California counties, which we're into in these 5 regions in the tiers, and all these stuff, yada, 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 when the governor went and partied hard to get the $1,000 a plate French laundry. Well, he locked down your businesses. Also meant for the brunch would have to close its doors, her restaurant, the busy holiday season for Johnson, who'd spent the past 9 months navigating the ever-shifting public health orders that had brought her business to the brink of ruin. This was the last straw. Johnson made the decision to defy Newsom's shutdown order and keep her business. She wasn't the only one. Across California, the reaction to the governor's order was strict and negative. Videos of business owners pointing out the absurdities of the new restrictions went viral on social media. Sheriff's departments across the state, including Los Angeles and Orange County, said they would not enforce the order of that. But instead, these group of people, they're accepting their fate, they got organized. They went through Facebook groups and held clandestine in-person meetings. A coalition of business owners decided to defy the state's latest order and keep Paso Robles open. I think another word for this is civil disobedience. You see it each and every day through this whole lockdown orders of the second one coming to this. Most people have voted with their feet, their cars, and everything else, and have went along living lives as normal. We're doing the legal route. Recall Gavin Newsom, which is putting through this living hell, which in about 6 more days will be the first day, or be the 1-year anniversary. Gavin Newsom signed the lockdown orders. It's also been over a year. That was March 4th, 2020. He started issuing executive orders to set up the March 19th or 18th lockdown. So really, we've been under the assault in California for more than a year. It has to stop. It's going to stop. Or you're going to be an occupied country like the Fog City Midge video from the District of Criminals in Washington, D.C., And the gentleman told you this is what a communist country looks like. The barriers are not to protect you, it's to protect the people inside. When they're putting the barriers at our capital, at our state offices, down to our city, they're putting the military to guard and protect them while crime runs rampant. You got Gascon and San Francisco, and they're basically saying, Katie, bar the doors, criminals. Criminals are putting out videos, bootleg videos, saying, oh, we're glad, Gascon, we're going to test this. Maybe we can get out of jail free. It's absolutely incredulous of what goes on. We're going to switch gears a little bit because a little fun stuff, and hopefully this rain goes away, which is supposed to tomorrow. They're going to have the British team runoffs at Paris Raceway on the Speedway bike track on that. Absolutely fantastic, and hopefully this will be the last race where we're off. At least they'll start letting fans back in the stands, and more tracks will be opening up. We got to applaud Paris Raceway for keeping racing going last year in Southern California. They've done a good job. They've started this year, had a couple races coming up. We're grateful to Paris Raceway, and we have one of the long time, and I mean long time, he might be mad at me for saying that, but he's been racing for decades out here in the speedway circuit for that. He's probably raced in practically every circuit in California, but across Europe on that. He has a resume too long to list on that, so I'm just going to introduce him as Fast Eddie Castro from the brainy town of Ojai, California. Welcome to Newswire with Roy Eddy.
Well, thank you, Jesse. I appreciate that. Yeah, I got 4 decades, 42 years total on it. Still going for it with the kids. I'm 62 now, still rubbing elbows with all the kids that are coming up. They're getting fast. Equipment's getting faster. It's tough out there, but I'm still enjoying it.
You got it. It is, and it's great. And hopefully, with all this stuff breaking, we'll get back to the Grand and the other tracks opening up. And I think there's a new one coming online, but we'll let them announce that coming up. Costa Mesa gets back online. You guys get back on the circuit of that. But it's a unique race that's coming up Saturday night at Paris Raceway. British-style team racing. Explain that to the folks, how it's different from scratch or handicap racing and what they might normally see.
Yeah, normally you'd be an individual out there just going for it, trying to get your points, and moving through the program, through the semis, and on into the main events. As a team race, you're teamed up with another partner against 2 other riders. And they're on a team. So we're trying to keep the points ahead of the other team. And so you kind of use some blocking maneuvers, too, to block for your partner. If you get a start and your partner's behind, then you're going to try to block for him and let him come up aside you so you can get the 5-1 points. The point system is 3-2-1-0 across the board. So you want to get a 5-1 with your partner. You want to get 5 points, the 3 and the 2, and they have the other team on no points. So they'll have 1 point for the 1 place. So that's the whole point of getting the 5-1 is getting out front, get a 3-2 with your partner, hold the other team off, and just get further ahead on points on the total at the end of the night.
So it's more like a united we stand, divided we fall thing. You're not just 16 riders out there all on an individual mission to win. You got 3 other guys on your team going against 3 other teams with 4, And not that it doesn't matter and we all like to win, but it's whoever gets the most points in this deal's up there. So you're actually rooting for your other 3 guys that are out there in the races you're not in, to hold up the flag. It's kind of like running a relay thing in track, I would kind of equate it to.
Yeah, you want everyone on your team to do good and garner points all the way through so you can have the most points at the end of the night as a team. And you try and help your teammates and point out things if you can, on gearing wise or a line on the track that might have a hole in it or something. Watch out for that, and try and give them some pointers and some help with the situation out there.
So yeah, you might be more inclined to the guys that are on your team, where when you're just running each individually, you're not going to go up to Luke Becker or Max Rummel and say, "Hey, watch out for this," or da 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 da. You're going to keep that to yourself. But if they're on your team, you're going to say, "Hey, I was just out there. Watch for this or that. Da 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 da. The high grip's working better. The low da da da."
Right, inside or outside line, or where you might get an advantage. Yeah, try and get a gate and get ahead of the other team and do team racing instead of just individual. And that's the thing. We're so used to doing individual. Last time we were out there, Buck Blair was on my team, and he was on my team, but he cut me off. I was like, dude, I'm on the same team. Remember, come on. We're supposed to keep them at bay, not each. So, anyways, we got it worked out. We had some good races out there last time we were out at Paris. So, hopefully, we'll have a good night tomorrow night. We've had some rain, so I think that'll hold the dust down. It was still raining here in Ojai today. It's looking like rain now overnight. My equipment's ready to go. It's covered, though, in the back of my truck. We'll be headed out early and see you tomorrow night there, You
got it. We're only about 10 minutes from the track, and I don't know if you just heard the big boom of thunder and lightning of that.
No,
but it was just there will be thunder and lightning out of Paris Speedway tomorrow night with the British team championships round 1 out there. Eddie Castro is in that. Tell us who are the other 3 members on your team.
Oh, that's a good question.
You forgot already.
Right, we've got Hancock. We've got one of the Wilbur Hancock. That's 4-time world champion Greg Hancock's son. That's coming up into the 500s, and Gino Manzares. And I'm not sure of all the team members, to tell you the truth.
Well, you only got one more, I think, that you forgot about on that, but you'll figure it out tomorrow night on that.
Once I get there, we see the program. So, I haven't seen the program yet, who we're up against. I think we're against the Heathens tomorrow. We'll be the Pirates, like the pool Pirates, like they have in Europe.
Yeah, since you get I think it's the Bakersfield Bandits, the Heathens, in the other 2, and I can't read that off my screen here. Some looks like Wolves or something on there.
That's probably
that. But you can see it up on our video screen on that where it's at. But no, it is, and and you never know what's especially when it rains on a deal like that, which it seems to be doing that. But the forecast is clear Saturday, so the race should go on. But you never, that could throw some real monkey wrenches into the track when when you get an overnight rain like this.
Oh yeah, hopefully we'll have a good track. It'll soak in good enough. We'll have a good cushion, and so we'll have an inside and outside line, not just one line across the track. But as long as it doesn't dig out and make big old holes in it, we're hooking up and taking each other out, so we can have a smooth race and no injuries. That's the best thing. That's the best thing for racing. Just come away with no injuries, no bikes bent, and have a good night out there for everyone. I'm sure there's snow all over Big Bear up there. I'm sure it's gonna be freezing out there tomorrow.
No, it's gonna be sunny and 80 degrees out there.
Yeah, not tomorrow night when we start.
You better bring your heater on that on that. And any of the fans, you can hook up on the show and watch Eddie and his team run there on XSRA TV. It's $20. The stream starts at 5 o'clock. You can hook up on that and watch these guys go. And like I said, hopefully this will be the last race where we're going to be like very little or no fans in the stands. Hopefully that opens up. Which I know isn't it kind of odd to race out there on a track like that and have no fans in the stands?
Yeah, well, we've still got all the people in the pits and a lot of, so there's pit passes. So you can pay and get in and be in the pits. But, hey, we got to thank our sponsors for keeping us out there. American Patriots Charities, Ricky Ritchie's out of Alabama, Pat Smith in Ventura, who bought me my bike, Steve Nutter, who bought me a motor, Dorsey Wingo's helped me out, Doug Smith, Mike Lanfear, my cousin who's pitting for me out there, Team Undead, he does the Grand Prix motoing, and Steve Watt, Biggie from Maxwell Industries. All those guys, they're out in Volusia right now in Florida watching the flat track. And, hey, Pete Alva, the biker movie's coming out in a while. You guys got to keep an eye out for that when that gets bought up and that gets put out. So that'll be online, the biker movie from Pete Alva. And thanks Team Swollen, too, for helping us out over the years. All the people that help us and keep us up there and out on the track, that's how we make do, It's tough out there. So, hey, we're always looking for some extra backing to cover our costs. So, hey, hope you all can come out and watch some good races. We're doing some good racing out there.
You got it, and no more than last, especially what we went through last year. It made all the behind the scenes people, like you mentioned, they were that much more important, and big props to them for stepping up to the plate last year and the beginning of this year to keep the sport alive, because without them, we might not even be having any racing tomorrow night.
Yeah, it used to be we were running 5 nights a week. In a 6-month season, we did 150 races in a 6-month season. Last year, we had about 9 races total. I mean, we did that 2 weeks in the past.
Yeah.
So we're lucky to have a couple tracks. We've got Steve Evans got us at Paris and a new track at Bakersfield. And Kelly Inman's working on some tracks right now. Hopefully they'll get the Grand back open. He's working on some more tracks. So hopefully that'll come to pass and we get back to it and get back to a new normal. This has been insanity. So
no, wouldn't it be
it's back to normal too? Jeez.
Yes, wouldn't it be great to get back to a normal speedway like you used to, like you say, when guys were running 4, 5, 6, sometimes 7 nights a week?
Yeah, we're praying for Brad. Brad Oxley at Costa Mesa, he ran into a deer down in Mexico and suffered major injuries, and he could have died. He had a torn aorta, 12 broken ribs, broken scapula, punctured lung. They flew him home and got surgery on him. He could have died down in Mexico. Hopefully he will be back together and back at Costa Mesa soon.
You got it. You can see Eddie and his team and everybody else racing out tomorrow night at Paris Raceway. You can buy the pay-per-view as we have it up on the screen. So thanks for being in it, Eddie. Good luck, and maybe we'll see you out there tomorrow night.
All right, we got to thank Steve Evans and Chris Ackerman for help promote out there and keep this going. Thank you all.
You got it.
Come on out.
You got it.
Starts at 5. Get out there.
Yes. Thanks, Eddie.
Right on. All right, take care. Thank you for having me.
You got it. That was it. Fast Eddie Castro from the brainy town of Ojai. And that might be a funny, but actually, some of the most intelligent people come out of Ojai, California. That place has like a lot of people that accomplish a lot. I mean, their school district and people that come out of there are like way like at the top of their game. I don't know what it is. It's the water up there. It's out of Ventura. If you go at that little mountain that goes up there and you go about 10 miles up, there's a little town called Ojai, and that's why I call it the brainy town, because a lot of very smart people come up there, and one of them is Fast Eddie Castro, who's been running longer than he probably likes to admit. At 62, still running on the speedway circuit. Amazing. And still competitive. That's what's even more amazing, that he's still competitive at 62 after running 40 plus years on the circuit. We had a great week coming up. Well, we're of that. Maybe. Well, it won't tone down. We still got we got to fight this occupation of that. Not the new normal. We want to go back to freedom, liberty, truth, justice, and the American way, because there is no other way unless you want to be a slave to the slave. There's the outro music coming up. Again, if you got a chance, click on the pay-per-view. You can buy a pit pass too and come out to Paris Raceway and watch the guys go for the British team racing on that.